Okay, students, I'm going to walk you through the very simple steps to make your clay owl. You are going to practice with Play-Doh first, which is very soft and pliable, meaning stretchy. But your finished owl, after you practice making in the Play-Doh and you feel comfortable, your finished owl is going to be in clay. And it is special air dry clay. Now, this clay can be a little messier. It might get on your hands a little bit. Mine is super sticky. I don't think yours will be this sticky. So I gotta work it just for a second. It will easily wipe off of your desk, so you might have a mat for yours, or you might do it on your desk and all we need is a wipe to wipe it right up, no big deal. But it is still soft, just like the Play-Doh, but this will dry hard and then we will color over or paint it, okay? You are also going to get two tools. One tool is like a pencil and it's very pointy at the end, so please be responsible. If I see you being irresponsible, then I can't let you have this tool. And the other one has two sides, a longer flat side and a shorter flat side with a straight edge. And then your second tool has a curved edge, which we're going to use to put some texture into the clay, and a rounded edge here, which we're going to use for the eyes. So to get started, you're going to take your clay out of the bag and you're just going to warm it up a little bit. And warming the clay up will make it a little softer and a little easier to work with. And then you're going to roll it into a ball. You can do it between your hands or you can roll it on your table. Either way is fine. And then as you roll, smooth out any creases that you see. Just want to try to make it as smooth as you can, but you can also smooth some of this out after you make it. All right, so now we're going to flatten it. So remember, we don't pound it, we just smush it down. You can also pick it up and smush it between your hands like this. So I've made it about as big as my palm, okay? So we have a circle shape, but we don't want a circle shape for our owl. We want it to be more of an oval shape, okay? So to do that, I'm just gonna stretch it out a little. I don't wanna break it. And if I want to flatten it more, I can just pinch it between my hands like this. Now this piece of clay might be a little bit bigger than the one you're gonna get because I only had so much clay and I had to split it up so that every student had an equal amount, and I did the best I could. All right, that's looking more like an oval because it's like an egg. Kind of looks like an egg shape. You want to make sure that your sides are pretty thick, because if they're too thin, it's getting a little thin up here, but we're gonna actually cut that part off, then it might break. Okay, so it's nice and smooth. Now I want to start tapping these sides in. I can sort of do that with my fingers. Remember, we talked about straight edges on the sides, or I can pick it up and gently tap it right on the table. So what happens is now these sides are nice and straight. Try not to fold your clay over. Don't take it and fold it like this because it'll be hard to smooth out. Okay, now if you use your finger, kind of like this, you can make it nice and smooth. Okay, so you want to make the sides nice and straight. I might tap it one more time. Okay, so this is looking pretty good down here, and using my fingers, I'm just gonna go and I'm going to smooth and tap until I get it the way that I want. That looks pretty good. That's nice and curved down here. There's no big cracks or anything. And I'm not too worried about up here because I'm actually gonna cut that off. So what I'm gonna use is the tool that is round on the top. And I'm gonna use that to draw my curved line at the top here, which will make, and now I'm not pushing all the way through, I'm just sort of drawing into it. It will make the ears. Then I'm gonna take my tool and I'm going to push all the way down and sort of push the clay away from that line. Okay, so I'm just sort of cutting it off, pushing it off. Okay, there you go. Now, my edge is pretty jagged, so I can take these pieces off. And then my ears don't really look like ears, but if I take my fingers and I pinch, I can reshape them. Okay, don't make your ears too thin. We want them to be kind of thick because we don't want to fall off. I can take my finger and I can smooth that out, and you'll see now I do have two pointy ears. We're calling them ears even though owls don't really have ears. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Now, using my what's left, kind of looks like a taco. So taking your taco, you're gonna take a small piece. If you hear music, it's Mrs. Reese's music class in the next room, so I'll just talk a little louder. Roll it into a ball, put it on the table, take your thumb, smush it down. This is going to be one eye, okay? Take another piece about the same size, roll it into a ball, put it on the table, smush it with your thumb, and you've got your two eyes. Now, to attach these so that they stay, we have to score the backside. And we have to use some clay glue, which is actually just a little bit of water. So, this second class, I'm gonna have a little water in a cup, okay? So you're gonna pick a side, and then you're gonna score the side. So you're just gonna make some lines into it like this. This is the back side, okay? You're gonna take the cup or whatever I give you, you're gonna dip your finger, you're gonna put your clay glue on, and then you're going to stick it onto the clay where you want it to go. Make sure it doesn't move, okay? Otherwise, this piece will fall off after it's dry. So score it, make some lines going two different directions, okay? So like down and then across, horizontal then vertical. Wet it a little bit, put it on the clay where you want it. Make sure it's where you want it, okay? Now I have my two eyes. Now with this tool, I'm gonna use the rounded side, and I'm going to carefully push down right into the middle, which will finish off my owl's eyes. Just like that, okay? So there's my owl's eyes. Now we need to make the nose. So I'm gonna take another chunk of clay, a little bigger than I did for the eyes. I'm gonna roll it into a ball. We're gonna start with a ball, okay? And then I'm going to flatten it just like I did. But this is a circle and we need a triangle. So what I want to do is I want to start pushing these edges up into a point. Okay, you see how I'm just pushing them together? And I'll smooth that out. And then if I pick this up and tap it, I'll get my straight edge at the bottom. So you can see now how I've taken my circle, pushed these edges in, tap the bottom, and I've got myself a triangle. Now I can go and tap those out. So this will be my nose. I'm gonna turn it upside down, flip it around, score it, lines. I'm using the pointy stick, going up and down, dip it in the water, clay glue, and put it right here. I'm gonna smooth out that little spot. Perfect. There is my owl nose, okay? And that should stick on there just fine. All right, now you're gonna take your pencil looking tool and starting halfway over from the eye. So here's my eye. This is the halfway mark. Starting right here, I'm gonna draw a curved line lightly. I'm not cutting into the clay, I'm just drawing lightly on top of it. These are going to be the wings. I'm gonna curve it around, okay? Now, you see these little jagged edges right here? In clay speak, those are called boogers. And I know that's silly, but they really are. You wanna try to get rid of as many of those as you can. You don't want a lot of clay boogers. So you just wanna sort of smooth that out a little bit. And all you want is a nice line that just shows where the wings are, okay? That's really all there is to it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we're gonna add some texture to the owl, all right? So using the rounded tool, okay, and flipping it over to the side that is straight all the way across and doesn't have this dip in it, you're gonna hold it and you're going to press, starting below the nose, press down and make a line going across of these little half circles, like these upside down U's. And then in the next row, instead of starting over here, we're going to start in between the first and the second one and put that one in the middle underneath. Okay, so it's called staggering. And then I can go back and fill this one in. Then I'll start in the middle underneath that row, the middle of the two, pushing these down. And you see, it's sort of making this impression of feathers. Okay, I'm gonna keep my pattern going. And anywhere I feel like I can add, all right, we're gonna try to keep this going all the way up. So I'm just gonna keep my pattern going all the way up to the eyes, like this. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we've got our nice texture on our owl right there, okay? Now at the top, you have a couple options. You can use your pointy tool to make some dots, and I'm just gonna make some that go around the owl's eyes, kind of like this. Okay, maybe I'll make 2 rows. Just lightly pushing this tool down and following that line across. And then in the ears, I want to make just sort of a straight line in the middle. So at the end of the pointy tool, you have this straight edge. So I'm just going to sort of push that down, try to connect it and make one. Not too far though. We don't want to cut all the way through. There we go. And then for the wings, we're going to make some straight lines going across. So using your sharp tool, you can very carefully hold it straight up. I think that works better. And just sort of drag. Now if you make a mistake and you don't like the way it's looking, if you're very careful, you can sort of smooth it out. Okay, but we're not pushing all the way through. We're just going to make some lines going across. And if you have a different idea for a pattern that you want to try, you know, these don't all have to look exactly the same, but we do want our owl to have some pattern. And I'm just going to fill in a couple more dots right up here, just to make it sort of go all the way around like this. Perfect. Okay. And that is my owl. I am pretty much done. So when you are done, if you raise your hand, I will come around and very carefully pick it up. Okay. We'll make sure that we label your name, and then we will put it off to the side to dry. If you don't finish today, we will put it in a Ziploc bag with a wet paper towel over the top to keep it nice and wet, and then we will finish it next time. And that is it.